If you're a homeowner with a significant amount of equity, but you're still making payments on student loans, you're going to want to stick around for today's video. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Britta Menzel with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, 43 degrees north in Boise, Idaho. And today, joining me, we have Tia with Synergy One Lending. And she is going to share with us some information about a refinancing option to help you with those student loans. Tia, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So I got an email from you and your team recently, and it was something I had never heard of before, but you said this is not a new program, right?
Right.
Okay. So why don't you explain to us what it is that we're talking about today?
So we're talking about a cash out refinance option to pay off specifically your student loan debt. So there are two types of main refinances in our world. You have a rate and term refi, which means you're not pulling out any equity of your home. You're just trying to reduce your interest rate, your payment, your term, all or some. And then there's also going to be a cash out refi, and that means that you're trying to pull some of the equity out of your property. So on a cash out refi, since it's a higher risk because you're pulling out more equity, it's going to come with a higher interest rate. So people love to do cash out refis to pay off debt, to purchase more property, to improve their property, but they have to take that slightly higher interest rate to go with it. On the cash out refi for your student loans, you're going to get the benefit of pulling the equity out, but also the benefit of the lower interest rate, like a rate and term refi.
Very cool. So you're not actually paying the higher interest rate.
Correct.
Very cool. So if I'm pulling equity out of my house in order to pay off student loans, how does that work? Do they send me a check and then I have to make a payment to whoever is holding my student loans?
Good question. So when you are doing this cash out refi to pay off the student loan debt, you're going to pay off the student loans at closing. So the money's never going to come to your pocket and then go to the student loans. We're going to issue a check directly to the student loan servicer.
Okay. So that will be involved in the paperwork and the application process. You'll be providing the information about who holds your student loans, how much you owe them, and basically pulling together what you guys need in order to make sure that that payment goes to them.
Exactly. So we get a copy of your student loans. We'll know who the servicer is, what the balance is, your loan number. At closing, you're going to sign papers. Here's my new loan. Here's where we're paying off the student loan. And then at the funding part of the loan, that check gets sent right out.
Very cool. Now, does it matter if the student loans are private student loans or federal student loans or any of that?
Nope. Any of those are fine.
Okay. So it works with any type of student loan.
But
what?
You have to pay the student loan off in full. So let's say you have $100,000 of student loan debt you want to pay off. You have to have enough equity to pay off the full balance. You can't do a partial payment and only pay off $50,000. It's got to pay this entire student loan.
Okay. Now, if you don't have enough equity to pay off the entire student loan, then the program won't work?
Correct.
Okay. What if you have consolidated loans, like with a spouse? If you have enough equity to pay off consolidated loans, will that work?
If it's one loan, then yes.
Okay.
So, like on some student loans, they'll break out and be like loan A, B, and C, and they each have their own loan number and balance. So you have to pay, if you're doing it, you have to pay at least one of the loans off in full. Does that make sense?
Yes. Now, what if you have private and government issued student loans? Do you have to pay off all of them?
No.
Okay.
You just have to pay off at least a loan in full to do it.
Okay. So if you have loans from different sources, as long as you're paying off one loan in full.
Yes.
And if you can pay off more than one loan in full, then you can add multiples into
Absolutely. Let's say you've got like 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. They're all three separate loans. Maybe you've only got enough equity to consolidate two of those loans into the cash out refi. You could do that. But you couldn't just pay off 20, 20, and a partial.
So Tia, does it matter, first of all, what your initial loan type was, like if you had a conventional loan or an FHA loan or anything like that, whether or not you're able to refinance through this program, and also when you do the refinance, is it a specific loan type?
Yes. So to answer your first question, it doesn't matter if it was a conventional loan, an FHA loan, a VA loan, but the cash out refi for the student loan, that program is going to be a conventional loan.
Okay.
So it's going to apply there only. And the max loan to value, which means the max equity total new loan you can take out, is up to an 80% value. So you'll have your value times 80%, then you subtract out whatever you owe on the property, and whatever's left over we can use for paying off student loans.
Who are the ideal candidates for this type of a refinance? Are there a lot of people out there using this program? Have you done this refinance program for very many people locally?
Yeah, we've done it a handful of times, and it's not going to be for everybody, but for the people that have probably some substantial student loan debt that's just lingering. In COVID times, of course, people weren't making payments on their student loans, so it wasn't super popular because they didn't have a payment on those. But now when payments are starting to come back, it's becoming a conversation again. So when you have a student loan that's a higher interest rate than your mortgage, a lot of people want to roll that in. Also because when you're making payments on the student loans, especially if you're only making minimum payments, it seems like you're paying those loans forever. So people are really interested in trying to get rid of that debt completely, and mortgages seem to be a great place to do it.
Absolutely. I know my husband and I talked about when we were making payments on our student loans, a lot of times it felt like you're only paying the interest and not actually making progress to pay down that loan. So my husband was real big on always making like more than the minimum payment to make sure that we were actually paying down on the principal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, not everybody is in a situation where they have the extra finances to make those extra payments.
Exactly.
And if you can get out of the student loan altogether and you're happy in your current home, it's not like you're needing that equity to move into another house anytime soon. Sounds like a great option.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, if you have student loans that are at 7, 8, 9%, and you can finance them into a mortgage depending on the time at 3, 4, 5, 6%, maybe it's a smart move. But your loan officer runs the numbers and helps you determine that decision.
Absolutely. So if anybody is interested in more information about this program, you want to talk to somebody and find out if this type of a refinance might help you pay off your student loans, I highly recommend reaching out to Tia and her team. And I will make sure to leave all of her contact information down in the description of the video so that you guys will be able to reach out to her.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It was great having you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like more information about relocating to the Treasure Valley, reach out to me today.